summer 2009. I was living in Brooklyn, New York. Woo! Yeah. And I was experiencing the recession blues hard. Sorry. I hated my job. I was staying out and drinking way too much and staying out way too late. And I was desperately seeking any sort of distraction from my boredom, which basically meant I was making bad decisions with my On top of that, my best friend Ty was taking a job that was moving him to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I know. I was really sad about it, but Ty offered a consolation. He was going to be staying with his good friend Jimmy, who he said was the bear of my dreams. So naturally, we stalked his Facebook and daydreamed about what Jimmy and James would be over cocktails. I was into it. A couple weeks after Ty made his move, he called me up on a Sunday afternoon. Here, talk to your new husband. I giggled like a schoolboy as I talked to them for an hour. They were driving home from some antique fair out in the middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania. When we hung up, I texted Ty asking for Jimmy's last name because I wanted to stalk him on Facebook some more. About a minute later, I received a text from an unknown number that said, "Your new last name is Smith." I melted. This was exactly the kind of distraction that I needed. This started non-stop communication between Jimmy and I. Phone calls, texting, G-chatting at work. Everyone at work was like, "What's with the smile?" Luckily, my high school bestie also lived in Pittsburgh. She had an upcoming birthday and was throwing this huge party, so I had the perfect excuse to go there. Also, I had an escape plan in case this Jimmy guy turned out to be a total weirdo. He picked me up from the airport in his big truck with this big thing of flowers and an even bigger hug. Ty was right. This guy was the bear of my dreams. He was 6'6", probably like 260 pounds, big old beard, blonde hair, gorgeous smile. I was in heaven. We spent that weekend as if we'd already been a couple. He took me on the cutest dates. He was super charming and funny at my friend's birthday party. And we had the best sex. But at the end of the weekend, it was kind of like, well, what do we do from here? Like, I lived in New York City. I was broke because I worked for a nonprofit. He lived in Pittsburgh. His solution? He had a gazillion airline miles and would simply fly me to Pittsburgh whenever I wanted. Or he'd come see me in New York. Y'all, I'm from a small white trash town outside of Fort Worth, Texas, known for two things, strip clubs and a dirt track where hillbillies, including my father, would race beat up old cars on a Saturday night. So I had some guy who wanted to fly me to see him whenever I wanted. Y'all, I felt like the king of motherfucking Brooklyn. Like, cue that Jay-Z song, Concrete Jungle Where Dreams Are Made Of? I had fucking made it. Even if those flights were at 6 a.m. and I had to connect in Chicago, right? So Jimmy was also pretty unhappy with his current situation. He hated his job. He was kind of meh about living in Pittsburgh. So we were he was also 10 years older than me. So we were the perfect combination of angst and depression. So naturally, we felt hard. I thought it was really cute that I had him as baby daddy in my cell phone. It was great. This was the first time I'd ever felt this way about someone and had them feel the same way about me. So it was really exciting, but it was also kind of scary because I'd always wanted to feel this way about someone. But, oh man, I kind of lost my train of thought. So we were just like, we had this super unhealthy, like weird relationship. And because of the nonstop like texting, phone calls, and G-chatting, it felt like we were really together. Also, the long distance nature of this relationship made it really easy to disregard the fact that I was a 26-year-old with a drinking problem, and he was a 36-year-old introverted homebody. Y'all, also, we may have even started talking gay marriage on like my second trip to Pittsburgh. Like, also we might have gone and looked at rings. Like, this shit was crazy. Yes. So, as with most, so also Jimmy had recently he took advantage of like the housing market and bought this gorgeous old craftsman home. And so we would call it our house. We talked about what we would do with certain rooms. I needed an office for some reason. We picked out wall colors. We researched backyard chicken coop options. And then we hosted these insane dinner parties on weekends that I was in Pittsburgh for all of our friends. Over the next 4 months, I would spend so much time in Pittsburgh because insane amount of PTO and those gazillion airline miles that Jimmy's friends were like, do you actually have a job in New York? Like, why are you always here? So, as with any delusional and unhealthy relationship, there needs to be a constant progression for that delusion to stay intact, right? So, about this 4-month mark, like, things were stalling. Jimmy was pressuring me more and more to quit my job, leave New York, and come live with him in Pittsburgh, and that scared the shit out of me. So what's a better holiday for a super unhealthy relationship than Christmas? Right? So we were both a little strapped for cash, so we decided that we would do our Christmas right after the first of the new year. I already knew what Jimmy had bought me, and I was so excited. This was the year that KitchenAid released the 90th anniversary edition of their stand mixer in a limited time only color of candy apple red. And it came with a glass bowl. Y'all, I fancied myself a budding home chef and foodie, so I could not wait for all of the fabulous cakes that I was gonna make for my friends in New York. Jimmy naturally bought the stand mixer for our house in Pittsburgh. So after some convincing, we decided on the day that my stand mixer would arrive in New York. I was literally like a kid on Christmas. Like, I could not fucking wait. So, but that morning, as we were G-chatting, there was this like odd tone to his messages. So in the anticipation of Christmas, I decided to tell Jimmy what I had gotten him. Or really what I was gonna get him. He was like, well, before you do that, maybe we should reconsider this whole thing. Wait, is this guy breaking up with me over G-Chat while I'm at work on the day that my Christmas present is supposed to arrive? Yo, that's exactly what this motherfucker did. My world crumbled. Like, I was studying for the GRE to apply to grad school in Pittsburgh and move there to live with this fucker. Like, these were conversations we were actively like having. So this guy broke up with me over G-Chat while I was at work on the day that my Christmas present was supposed to arrive. It was awful. So it really took me a while. Like, I was a hot mess for months after this because this was my first relationship. And I was really trying to process like everything that had gone like wrong and all the red flags that I had missed or probably should have been aware of. Also, so I started seeing a therapist. Therapy's great, everyone should do therapy. So I also really wanted to work out some of the like small town Texas Southern Baptist bullshit that I brought to my first like relationship, right? So like 3 months into therapy, one night after my session, I had this dream that I moved out of Jimmy's house in Pittsburgh. And I also met his boyfriend, who I later found out he had left me for. I know. This was actually a super profound moment for me in my healing process. And so I saw last year that they actually got married in what was the most over-the-top, gay-as-fuck wedding on the planet. And all I could say was, thank God that was not me. But I do hope that they're happy, and I do hope that they are using my candy apple red stand mixer to make lots of delicious shit for their friends in Pittsburgh. Thank you.
One more time for James.